How many of you have actually traveled from the AJC Bose Road flyover to the Park Circus crossing? Can I have a show of hands? AJC Bose Road flyover, I'm sure everyone has, yeah. I'm sure everyone has, yeah. So I have 3 incidents to share with all of you of that particular flyover. So the first incident goes this way. One day I'm traveling from the AJC Bose Road flyover. There's a friend of mine sitting right next to me. She's a girl, she's special, so you know where I'm going at. But as we go from the flyover and we go down to the crossing, there's a red light there. And as we reach the red light, there's this young kid who comes up. He's got really bright colored balloons. Red, blue, green, yellow. A lot of bright colored balloons that he has. And he comes up to the car and I can look at him. The brightness of the balloons is in stark contrast to the brightness of his clothes. So he comes up to the cars and knocks on my window and he asks me, Bhaiya, he has a very good sales technique. Bhaiya, Didi ke liye balloon kharidoge kya? Very smart sales technique. I was like, Arey wah bhai, good sales technique. Now I am there, I feel, I am the kind of a macho guy. I feel ki I have been conditioned by Bollywood movies ki ladki ke liye agar balloon kharido, to ladki impress ho jayegi. So I also think that the number of balloons that you purchase is directly proportional to how much you can impress a girl. So I did not buy 1, 2, 3 balloons. I bought her 5 balloons. I said, chalo, aaj 5 balloon kharidte, and she was very happy. So she was happy, the kid was happy, and in turn, I was happy. So that was the first incident that happened. The second incident, I'm again on the AJC Bose Road flyover. This time, the last conversation, the girl is sitting right next to me, alright? This time, the last conversation I had with her, I asked her what happened, and she told me, I'm fine. Which meant, she was not fine. So there was this very gloomy atmosphere in the car. Because we just had a fight, and again the car went and we stopped at the Park Circus crossing. Now this kid sees the car, he looks at me, he sees the girl, he's like, aaj to wahan sale hone wala hai. So he runs to the car and he knocks on my window. He tells me the same sale technique. Bhaiya, didi ke liye balloon kharidna hai kya? Now I'm not in a good mood because ego. I don't want to buy any balloons for anyone right now. And I'm like, nahi chahiye, chale jao. So he keeps on knocking, he tells me, bhaiya kharid lo, please, please. And then he does something different. He jumps on the bonnet of my car and he's literally from the front window of my car, he's telling me, ki bhaiya please balloon kharid lo, please balloon kharid lo. Usi samay red light se green light hota hai. And I'm like, ki boss hato yaar mera gaadi se, I have to move my car. And he's not moving. So I am very agitated at that moment. I honk a bit, ki bhai please hato mera gaadi se. Finally he moves and then I'm able to go off, and the thought that's going on in my head at that point of time is, what led that kid to put his life at risk? Because if I would have spent my car that time, then he would have surely got injured. So that was the second incident that happened. The third incident, again, I'm on the same flyover. This time, there's no one with me, I'm alone. Of course, you can understand why. Nothing was fine then. But anyway, I reached the same crossing and the kid sees me. This time, I call the kid. I'm like, idhar aao. So he comes with his balloons and everything. And I hand him, he says, ki bhaiya, balloon chahiye kya? I said, nahi, balloon nahi chahiye. So I give him a biscuit ka packet. He takes the packet of biscuit, he runs to the side of the road, and then he hands it over to a 4 to 5-year-old girl, which I presume is her sister. This is the 3 incidents that happened with me on the same crossing. Now what does it all collate to? What do I come down with all these 3 incidents? I know for a fact that the packet of biscuit is not a solution. It's not a solution at all. I can't think of it as a solution. But it led me to think about what the solution could be. If you're talking about such a grave cause, something so important, what the solution could be. And after much thinking, I came down to the fact that the solution is not sympathy. We can't pity them. If we pity them, then it's very, very temporary. Ek baar hua, ek packet of biscuit de diya and it's over. We feel a little good about ourselves. The solution, I believe, is this word: empathy. What is empathy? As Alfred Adler quotes, and I'll quote him, it is to see from the eyes of another, to listen from the ears of another, and to feel from the heart of another. If you can put yourself into someone else's shoes and look at life from their perspective, that is empathy. And if all of us, a lot of young people are in the crowd, all of us, every single one of us can develop that attitude of empathy towards everyone. Because we come from a very privileged space. Our space is very privileged. And if we look at them from their perspective and we try to feel their life from their perspective, that, I believe, is the answer. Now, when I talk about empathy in itself, you'll be telling me, how do you develop it? It's not an overnight process. Let me tell you that. It's just simply becoming aware of that current moment you're in. When you go to Balwant Singh Dhaba and you look at, you're having your great chai with a snack, just be aware what's around you. Because once you're aware and you see that old lady who's coming to you and asking for alms and look at her situation, you just think about it, that creates an emotion in you. And that emotion, when it keeps developing, it becomes a bigger thought, which in turn leads to action. And that action, ladies and gentlemen, need not be materialistic at all. Need not be materialistic. You can give a 10 rupee note, you can donate to a charity, you can do all of that, that's amazing. But it can also be immaterial, in the sense, it can be emotional, psychological, or even spiritual in a sense. I'll explain it with a very quick example. For example, whenever me and my dad, we travel back from office, there's this one guy who's in crutches. He always comes to the window of our car, and once my dad had given him 10 rupees, but even today, whenever my dad sees him and he sees my dad, they smile at each other. That is the immaterial attachment that I'm talking about, not necessarily material. Coming back to the thought, once that thought keeps developing, all of us young people, we can actually lead to much bigger action, which will make a stark difference in society. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a quote from Gita. I tried to learn it up, but it was a little difficult, so please bear with me. It goes this way: Atmopyan sarvatra samampa Paschati ya Arjuna Sukham va yadi va dukhan Sa yogi parmo mata. What does it mean? It means when a person responds to the joys and sorrows of others as if they were his or her own, he has attained the highest level of spiritual devotion. That is what it means.